Ladies and gentlemen, hobos and tramps, cross-eyed mosquitoes and bow-legged ants. Admission is free. Y'all pay at the door. Pull up a chair and sit on the floor. It's time once again for the world-famous Hartland Hootenanny. Hi, everybody. I'm Ketch, Secor of Old Crow Medicine Show, welcoming you to the Crow's Nest here at Hartland Studios in East Nashville, Tennessee, USA, for the most exciting hour of live stream entertainment that you've seen since the transformative powers of whittling. Think about it. Our very special guest in the Hartland Hootenanny tonight are a beloved Alabama-based harmony duo with angelic voices, passionate songcraft, and a brand new album on New West Records. Two of our favorites, Lydia and Laura, the Secret Sisters, are joining us live on the Hootenanny tonight. So friends, it's time once again that we gather to remember that whether it's needlepoint or knitting, weaving or carving, it's all crafts, and it's all good, and it's all Tennessee! And it's Saturday night in Music City, and this is the Hartland Hootenanny! All right, howdy friends, and welcome again to this week's live broadcast of the Hartland Hootenanny, that delicious dish of delirium destined to delight despite the dark days of doldrum. Yes, welcome one and all to this week's show. I'm your host, Ketch Secor, the dude from Old Crow who keeps divvying out the Chex Mix even long after the party's over. Howdy, friends, and thanks for choosing the Hartland Hootenanny tonight for your long list of Saturday night live stream offerings. We're well aware that you could be watching Yoga with Adrian right now, so we're especially glad that you've honored us with your presence here on the subversive end of the live stream dial. Tonight, we welcome one of the most beautiful harmony duos I think I've ever heard since 1936, Mildred and Dorothy Good, the girls of the Golden West. Yes, Lydia and Laura Rogers, live and in the flesh here at the Hartland Studios, bringing their signature sounds all the way up from the Muscle Shoals area, Northwest Alabama. The Secret Sisters are here. Now, isn't that a treat? Well, friends, here we are again, getting cozy in the fall, gathered as we've been these past 25 weeks of scraping the proverbial pipe of Saturday night in the hopes that some pre-COVID residue may remain. And speaking of pipe stems, tonight we celebrate an annual tradition of great esteem which we hold dear to our hearts here in the Volunteer State. Friends, it's Tennessee Crafts Week once again, and I'm mighty proud to confess that I have the distinct honor and privilege of bearing this year's renowned title of Honorary Chairman of Tennessee Crafts Week. Isn't that cool? Hey, look! It's Corey Yance!
Hey, everybody! Howdy, Ketch. You know, I'm really glad to see all you folks tuned into the Hootenanny tonight.
And I'm sure they're all glad to see you there behind the piano. Hey, what you working on over there? See, why is that a bird call or a bird feeder or a bird carving?
That's all the above, really. When I'm done with this carving, folks are gonna see that I'm not just a song and dance man, damn it. I'm a craftsman, too!
Well, we always knew that about you, T.Y. Let her call. And all shawled up and all masked up, here comes Joe Jackson Andrews.
Hey.
Wow. Hey, it's just wonderful to be with you. How about we sing us a little song that really captures the arts and crafts spirit of the great state of Tennessee?
It's a good idea, Ketch. You know, there's no better craft makers than the artisans of those verdant Smoky Mountains of East Tennessee.
Joe's right, folks. And there's no artisan more associated with those Smoky Mountains than the great Dolly Parton of Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. So let's pay tribute to all the above with this arts and crafts special, the one and only Dolly. We're going to sing one of her all-time greatest songs.
You know, that's a great idea, boys, but first, I think we ought to bring out some real beautiful singers to help us do Dolly Proud, if you know what I mean.
Folks at home, join me in welcoming to the Hartland Hootenanny, the Secret Sisters. Here we go. Back through the years as I go wandering once again, back to the season of my youth, I recall a box of rags someone gave to us, and how my mama put those rags to use. There were rags of many colors, and every piece was small, and I didn't have a coat, and it was way down in the fall. Mama sewed the rags together, sewing every piece with love. She made my coat of many colors that I was so proud of.
As she sewed, she told a story from the Bible she had read about a coat of many colors Joseph wore, and then she said, perhaps this coat will bring you good luck and happiness. And I just couldn't wait to wear it, and Mama blessed it with a kiss.
My coat of many colors that my mama made for me, made from only rags, but I wore it so proudly. Although we had no money, I was rich as I could be, in my coat of many colors my mama made for me. So with patches on my breeches and holes in both my shoes, in my coat of many colors I hurried off to school, just to find the others laughing and making fun of me, in my coat of many colors my mama made for me.
And oh, I couldn't understand it, for I felt I was rich, and I told him of the love my mama sewed in every stitch, and I told him all the story Mama told me while she sewed, how my coat of many colors was worth more than all their clothes.
But they didn't understand it, and I tried to make them see that one is only poor only if they choose to be. Now I know we had no money, but I was rich as I could be, in my coat of many colors my mama made for me, made just for me. Hey, how about that? Thank you to the Secret Sisters. Hey, we can't wait to see you a little later in the show, Lydia and Laura.
So happy to be here. Thank you.
Hey, bring them eggs out when you come back next,
Okay.
will you? Woo! She's been out on the farm up there in Northwest Alabama, folks. It's our Tennessee Crafts Week celebration here on the Hootenanny tonight, and we're so glad you're joining us from your own home workshops, where I know you've been getting an awful lot of crafting done during these strange weeks and endless hours of self-quarantined isolation. And whether it's knit, pearl, or like Corey, you're carving little animals, animal spirits, or maybe you're sewing an oven mitt, or macrameing a plant hanger, whatever your project is, we know that it's essential that we keep our hands busy in troubling times like these. Hey, Corey, what's that old saying that they say when they say something about idle hands?
Devil's Toolbox.
Yes, right. And so we're keeping our hands busy during the global pandemic in the hopes that by the time things get back to normal, perhaps we'll have honed some new life skills and maybe have a few potholders to give away for Christmas. But arts and crafts aren't just traditional crafts. Times like these call for an updating of traditional folk pathways, that we may repurpose our crafting and get reattuned to the new era of COVID crafting. So, let me try another one, will you? Let's get out the big glue guns for this list of top 10 new arts and craft projects for the coronavirus season. Okay, number 10. Embroidering pillowcases with spiky SARS-CoV-2 paisleys. Number 9. Tie-dye your own hazmat suit with matching hypoallergenic boots. Number 8. Crocheting a tissue box cover big enough for the entire world. Number 7. Cutting out paper dolls in the likenesses of all the White House staff and cabinet members who've recently contracted COVID-19. Number 6. Make your own hand sanitizer. Combine your favorite blend of essential oils to create a liquid decontaminant that doesn't smell like the bottom shelf tequila that made you puke in high school. Number 5. Quilting blankets to hide under whenever you turn on the evening news. I'm so scared, Corey. Number 4! Make a flower press with all those withering get-well-soon carnations that you received when you first contracted the novel coronavirus. Number 3! Folks, start saving all those bleachy wipes that you use to wipe down your cart at the grocery store. You're gonna need them when you start knitting your own bleachy wipe shawl. Number 2! Needlepoint a bottomless beer koozie or bong sock or Loratab bottle koozie. Pick your poison. And the number 1 new arts and crafts project for the coronavirus season is sewing POTUS and FLOTUS face masks. Oh wait, I guess it's too late for that. But maybe they'd work as a doily. Potholder?
Okay.
Hey! How about a song? What say we get some more band members up here to help us sing another one of those old crow COVID classics? Here they come now. Joe! Hey! Robert! Hey! Morgan? Hey! Oh, the gang's all here. It must be Saturday night in Nashville, folks. Well, wherever you're tuned in from tonight, we're glad you're here. Hey! Everybody seems to have a special crafting project they're all working on. What have you guys got going on, Robert?
Howdy, Ketch. Hey, everybody. I'm embroidering Make America Kind Again on these rubber gloves here.
Yeah, and I'm stenciling an Amish hex for good luck right here on the back of my upright bass. That's great, fellas. I'm wearing a new hand-tooled leather guitar strap, custom made by a Montana craftsman and saddle maker by the name of Zach Aguilar. Thanks, Zach! All right, let's sing, boys.
1, 2, 3, 4.
On the first day that I saw you walking home in your muddy boots across the empty field of harvest time, humming a familiar tune, I stopped and sang with you. We watched the yellow moon rise. Later on outside your fence, we shared a little dance. I knew I loved you even then. And in that autumn sky, we watched a storm roll by. It's been that way ever since. Oh, baby, it's sure been a whirlwind, a twirling twister touching down on the ground in a dozen little sleepy towns, blowing like a gale full of rain, clouds of thunder with our hearts full of hunger and our hopes looking upward once again. Babe, it's been a whirlwind. There were babies died and babies born, flood and drought and world war. We saw the worst years and the best, and every town another chance to try and build a winning hand, even when the cards were stacked against. Oh, but I remember while we danced, as it gets a glance, the warmth of your breath against my cheek, and then hearing that loud thunder roll, arm in arm we strolled, went racing home down Rainy Street. Oh, baby, it's sure been a whirlwind, a twirling twister touching down on the ground in a dozen little sleepy towns, blowing like a gale full of rain, clouds and thunder with our hearts full of hunger and our hopes looking upward once again. Babe, it's been a whirlwind. Oh, babe, it's sure been a whirlwind, a twirling marching down on the ground in a dozen little sleepy towns, blowing like a gale full of rain, clouds and thunder, with our hearts full of hunger and our hopes looking upward once again. Babe, it's been a whirlwind. Honey, babe, it's been a whirlwind. Yes, wait for the bell. Keep waiting. That's right. It's time once again for News on Parade. That wonderful time when the Hartland Hootenanny investigates what's going on in the hearts and in the minds of the members of the Old Crow Medicine Show, America's beloved sweethearts. It's also that time that we open up the Pan-American mailbag and read your correspondence. But first, our top news item. For years now, the arts and crafts movement has had contributions from all strata of society. Whether it's school children with their macaroni self-portraits, or amateur watercolorists, or Jello sculpture, perhaps the greatest artists of our generation are just regular folk like you and me. But one population of Americans has contributed even more to the gallery walls of our nation's amateur arts and crafts contest. In fact, ever since the founding of America, one group of artists has left an indelible mark on the canvas of amateur crafts. Of course, I'm talking about the United States incarcerated population. Folks with time on their hands and unique talents to share. So tonight, we'll unveil our tribute to America's imprisoned craftsmen and women, a music video that Old Crow filmed at the former Tennessee State Prison right here in Nashville, where on the walls is a mural painted of all corners of the globe by a prisoner who'd never even left the state. But a fella can dream, can he? Hey, let's roll that tape.
Go trailer. Give me a slide out, double wide, Class A trailer. Wrap it up and razor wire, take it to the jailer. Hurry up, honey, 'cause they hang me at dawn. I wanna dive a little before I put my jumpsuit upon the trailer. It's old Mr. Hangman looking for a favor. Hey buddy with the lady, to do some introducing, I'll call up the governor for
how about that? Hey, special thanks to Matt Miser and Robot Fondue, who directed that video. And thanks to Dante Pope and Brian Farrow and Dom Flemons, JP Harris,
and
Chance McCoy,
Walker Terrell,
Critter Fuquay, Pete Parento. God, who else was in that thing?
Marty Stewart.
Man, you were awesome in that.
You were awesome too. Thanks for the note you slid me. That's
Oh, you know what it really said, but I'll tell you later. Hey, special thanks to the Tennessee Department of Corrections, who visit us during the filming of the Brushy Mountain Conjugal trailer video. And furthermore, we wish to extend our love and prayerful support, get well wishes to the inmates of 2 Tennessee prisons in particular tonight. We want to send our love to the Trousdale Turner Incarceration Complex and to Bledsoe County Corrections. God bless you. We're thinking about you on the Hootenanny in Nashville tonight. Well, hey there, hey, what's up there, bud?
Hey, you know what, man? I know what all those crafty Hootenanny quilters out there are thinking. They want to know if we've got hand-sewn swag items to celebrate Tennessee Crafts Week. Well, you're in luck, folks.
Corey's right. Friends, buy a t-shirt and save an old crow from an ongoing 8-month of unemployment.
And if you're one of those holder crochet artists who wants to paint some COVID-19 paisleys on the side of our tip jar and not get a t-shirt for it, then just click the PayPal link below and help us keep the sewing machines whirling over here at Hartland Studios.
Right on! Oh, and folks, don't forget to get your tickets at nuttybrown.com for our 2 special shows live in Austin, Texas on Friday, October 23rd. And Georgia Old Crow fans, you're in for a treat because we've just made a very special announcement, haven't we, CY?
We certainly have, Ketch.
It's Old Crow Medicine Show live from the drive-in in Lot A of the Ameris Bank Amphitheater in Alpharetta, Georgia, 8 p.m. Monday, October 26th. Tickets at www.ticketmaster.com. 1 ticket per vehicle includes a parking spot as well as a tailgate zone for up to how many people?
4 people.
Wow, help us celebrate the World Series bound Atlanta Braves with a special night of Old Crow music from Fulton County. All right, let's check the mailbag, Corey.
Check the mailbag.
Wait, I feel like something's missing. Something that seems to indicate that...
Goes with the mail.
Yeah, it's
Goes
not
with
the
the mail.
sound of glug, 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 although it could be. What is the sound I'm wondering about? That's it! Okay. Hey, before we read the mail, let's get some notes. Hey, Troy Clayton is tuned in from South Berwick, Maine. Roy S. from Hog Wallop, Texas. For real? Stacy's in from Wasilla, Alaska. Allison Diane is in from Farmville, North Carolina. Reggie Smith is tuned in from Louisville. Beth Schaefer is rocking in from Pleasant View, Tennessee. Corey's hometown. Hey. Stephen from Elmira, New York. Danielle and Ben in Vegas say howdy. And Bill Gilstrap is tuned in from King County, Washington, home of the not-so-World Series-bound Mariners. Paul Rowland from the Bay of Islands in New Zealand is tuned in. Jay Bailey says, Happy Country Music Month, y'all. Alicia Dominique says, yes, the bat is back. Especially my hot sauce. And Tammy Compton says, I friggin' love y'all, LOL. Caroline Schwartz says, episode number 25, happy silver anniversary, y'all. Oh, so many memories, Caroline Schwartz. Tim D likes Ketch's shawl. Why don't you marry it, Tim D? Lachlan Welsh says, g'day from Australia. And Nancy Proctor says, Morgan's Aunt Nancy is watching from Pennsylvania. Sending lots of love to Morgan's aunt, wherever she is in Pennsylvania. Hey, let's open some mail. This one comes all the way from John Gunther in Griffin, Queensland, Australia. Oh my God, it's a whole lot of hats. Not just one, and a note. Let's see. Corona tested, Corona approved. Let's see what our friends down under have to say. Oh, they sent a great big poster that says, Dear Ketch and your fellow old crows, g'day from down under in sunny Australia. We just love to wake up every Sunday morning and attend the Church of the Old Crow, aka the Hartland Hootenanny. Enclosed, you'll find enough quality headwear to cover your old crow noggins to keep that bright old Nashville sun off your pretty little faces. We particularly love seeing and hearing all your special guests. There's a bunch of amazing Antipodean Americana acts down this way who would sure be psyched to join the Hootenanny acts like the Wilson Pickers, Megan Cooper, and the Weeping Willows, just to name a few. Keep the quarantine tunes going and the quarantine love flowing. Cheers, Jack, and all the Lauries. Thanks, Jack, and all the Lauries, too. Hey, look, here's a letter from our friends in Frisco. Here's one all the way from Karen Gansky of San Francisco, California. All of our Californian friends that are tuned in tonight, we're thinking about you guys as the fires rage. Look at that Kizash flowing down from the Golden State. It is a Golden State. You might be a redneck if you take your dog for a walk and you both use the same tree at the corner. Zip. You can't see my fly cam, can you? You're in my thoughts, she says, as in urine. Oh, what a great card. Dear Ketch and the OCMS gang, thank you so much for 6 months of fun, witty, and musically exciting entertainment in our COVID quarantine as we approach what would be hardly strictly Bluegrass Festival weekend. Miss you. We especially miss live music and meeting up with friends old and new. We'll still be frying chicken and baking biscuits, but we'll be socially distanced in our backyard, wearing OCMS Quarantine and Nashville Rising t-shirts. Thanks for the shameless plug. And we'll see you soon. Please keep the music, social commentary, music anecdotes, and corny jokes coming. They're not that corny, are they? Oh, right. Thanks to our friend Karen Stewart and all of her redneck buddies out there in the hills of San Francisco. Now, here's one from our friends all the way from Dunedin, Florida. Pronounced done eating, but not done drinking. Thanks for the clarification. Dear Ketch, watching Hartland Hootenanny is like getting religious for us. I love that tone, C-Y. And you know that there's a thin line between Saturday night and Sunday morning. We keep our tickets, see photo march when you look forward to seeing you in Clearwater, Florida. We're waiting for your return engagement. We've seen a couple of payments. Hey, did you send payments to us through PayPal? Thanks to our friends down in Dunedin, Florida, where the sun has kissed these oranges. Now, let's open this one. This is from Rod Dalton of Columbia, South Carolina. Rod has sent a return envelope of note in case we want to send back some of these things that he sent us. Oh, you know, it's so fun when people send you stuff that they want you to sign. We'll get a chance to sign that for you. But let's read Rod's letter. Hey, Ketch, thank you so much for responding to my email. We're still very much enjoying the Grand Ole Opry on Saturday night. It's like the highlight of 2020 for us so far. I printed out a picture of you that I found online. Feel free to personalize it and add any comments. We also purchased your book, Lorraine. Can't wait to have a grandchild to read it to. I can't wait for you to be a granddad, Rod. I can tell you're going to be a great one. If you have a book plate or business card, we could tape it to it. That would be swell. Granddads should all say swell. If your bandmates want to sign your picture, that's cool. If old Jerry Kennedy is around, I'd love to have his autograph too. Stay safe, Ketch. Crazy times we're going through right now. Music is the glue that holds us together. Respectfully, Rod Dalton. Thanks, Rod, for your note and for all of our fans tuned in from South Carolina tonight. We've got time for one more letter. Wait, oh my God, it's a box. This thing looks massive. Hi, OCMS. Hi, Ketch. It comes from our friends in Waveland, Mississippi. If there's really a place called Waveland, Mississippi, I want to go there. Oh my God. It is a veritable plethora of joy that has just arrived from Waveland, Mississippi. The live stream show was great. If case package is open, damaged, or lost. Did you really think that was going to happen? Oh my God, what did they send us? It looks like it might be one of those bong socks that I put into my joke earlier. It's a really long and complicated letter that I might not get a chance to read, but oh my God! In Mississippi, the $100 bills grow on magnolia trees, and you just pluck them down from Waveland, Mississippi, and you put them in the mail. Thank you so much for this wonderful gift from Amy, and we will be back in touch very soon to thank you for this generous and thoughtful tiding from the Magnolia State. Well, how wonderful to read the mail with you tonight on this Tennessee Arts and Crafts edition, 25 Saturday nights in a row, the Hartland Hootenanny. Hey, if you want to write the Hartland Hootenanny, it's easy. And with quarantine providing you ample time for activities such as letter writing, stamp ordering, and envelope licking, and disinfecting after your mail carrier visits your porch, then please mail your letters to the Hartland Hootenanny. in care of Hartland Studios, 711 Hart Lane, Nashville, Tennessee, 37216. Don't have time to disinfect on your way home to the post office? Stay home and correspond with the Hartland Hootenanny on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. All right. How about it? Come on. Well, that sound means it's time to go straight to our next special segment on the Hartland Hootenanny. That wonderful bit that I like to call Brighten Your Quarantine with the radiant hues burning very brightly tonight of tonight's very special guest stars. Folks, just a year ago, our guests on the Hootenanny tonight put out their most critically acclaimed album to date and one of my most favorite records. The record is called Saturn Returns. Saturn Returns. It's on the New West record label and it was produced by my friend Brandy Carlisle. Oh, I'm so excited to please welcome the Secret Sisters.
Hi, everyone. I brought you eggs.
You brought me what?
Chicken eggs that I crafted myself.
You mean you laid these?
Yes. It's
Wow.
a magical trick that I can do.
Incredible
I know.
work.
Thank you.
This one must have really.
Yeah, that was rough.
You have some a very diverse flock.
Yes, I have many talents.
I see large and small
Yeah.
and brown
It's
and.
based on whatever recipe you use, whatever the recipe calls for.
I can't wait to cook with these eggs that Lydia and Laura Rogers, the Secret Sisters, from a safe 6 feet distance, have brought from the great state of Alabama. I'm so glad you're here with us. I don't want to belabor because I just want to hear you sing. You're about to sing a song that I'm so excited about hearing on Hootenanny. Would you just do it?
Yeah, we'll
can
just
do that.
it. This is a song off of our new record. It's the first single off of our record, and it's called Cabin. A fire rages inside me. It does not feel like
that tune is mesmerizing.
Well, thank you.
I'm all tripped out. It's like I'm in some like Carson McCullers fantasy.
Oh, that
Ooh.
is quite a compliment.
That's
there.
a good one.
That is Southern Gothic, y'all.
Thank you. That's what we love.
I've been working on a sweater for your baby,
Oh, that's so
or
sweet.
babies.
Oh, you better work quickly.
I've got a little bit more work to do. It's
a little bit.
knit pearl, right?
Yeah, something.
Well, I was not much of a craftsman, but you guys sound better than ever. Lydia and Laura Rogers, the Secret Sisters on the Hartland Hootenanny. It's so great to see you again. It's been a little
Yeah.
while.
It's been a
It
while,
has.
yeah.
Yeah.
And how has everything been going for you since the world turned flip-flop?
We've been pretty distracted. Like you said, we both had babies last year, so we're just chasing kids around all year. We've gotten into a few crafts ourselves.
Yep.
Oh, are you crafting
A
now?
little bit, yeah, a little bit. I got into oil painting this year some, and that's about it. Just
Yeah.
painting and parenting.
Wow, what a nice
That
alliterative
was a
thing.
good
Yeah.
alliteration.
They're songwriters to the through and through.
I know. I can't get away from it.
Well, so you haven't been touring, I am assuming.
No.
Now, are you doing any kind? Have you had a chance to get into like? How about busking?
We've done none
none
of
of
that. We've done the live stream, on our social medias. That's been kind of the gist of it. It's like just do it from home and people tune in.
Y'all live in Muscle Shoals?
Yes. Well,
She
I
does.
do.
I live in Birmingham, so
Yeah.
Oh, you're in the
She's
big city.
she's a
yeah,
city
the
gal.
really big city.
Yeah.
But y'all grew up in the Shoals
We did.
area, right?
Mhm, we
did you
did.
grow up in Sheffield, or what's your hometown?
Green Hill.
Oh, Green
Like Green
Yeah,
Hill.
I know Green Hill because I traveled through Green Hill
Green Hill.
on
For
my.
donkeys. No, mules.
Yeah, that's where Don Killen lives
Yes,
at
it
too.
is.
Right.
Sure.
Green
is.
Hill, yeah, I went through Green Hill. It's got an elementary school.
We do,
and
yeah.
That's about.
diner.
That's about it.
and
Yeah.
Amico.
Takes about
Yeah.
5 minutes to drive through.
Yeah, no traffic lights.
So what's it been like living during the I'm interested in the global pandemic in Green Hill terms.
Well, it didn't take a long time. It seemed to me to take a long time to kind of reach our shores. It was, you were hearing about it in all the big cities. And now, we hear about people that we know who've caught it. And most of them are doing okay, but some of them aren't. So, people are hanging in there, and kind of some people, are respectful and wear the mask and stay distant, and some people just don't care. Like Alabama is about most things.
Some people just don't care.
So true.
But that's everywhere. That's a plague that we all have everywhere.
Well, it's true. Now I want to hear more about this record because I'm pals with Brandy Carlisle, and she played me some early work tapes that you guys were embarking on, and I thought, oh my God, this is gonna be such a great album. How has the response been since you guys put out Saturn Returns?
So we put it out actually February 28th of this year, and that was right before everything went down. So we had a whole tour planned around it, and of course the coronavirus happened. But
Yeah.
the response has been really, really warm. So
Yeah.
hopefully this time next year we'll be back at it.
We'll see.
Maybe earlier.
For folks tuned in tonight, where can we find a copy of Saturn Returns so that we can get our hands and ears attuned?
Well,
Anywhere
go
you
to
find
every local record store in every city
That's right.
and support them, because they need your money more than ever. More than we need it, they need it. So support your local record store. You can order it on our website. You can get it on iTunes, all the streaming services. But get a physical copy because it's the best.
Do it now, y'all. Go on to your favorite independent record store website and pre-order your copy of Saturn Returns on New West Records. Seriously, y'all, like now. Go do it. Hey, are you guys going to sing another tune for us?
We would
Sure.
love to.
Only if you join us.
Yeah,
though.
we want
Really?
the old crow experience.
Well, bat that camera over there and see if we can't get all the old crows here into the frame.
I got a lot of frustration.
Uh-oh, look out.
That was good.
Slow-mo batting. Hey, what are you going to do? Is this one of y'all's latest tunes, or?
It is. It's the first track on our new record.
Title? No, not title track. It's not the title track.
No,
I don't know
it's
why I
just
said
the
that.
first track.
Yeah.
I was right the first time.
Yeah, she's always
Um,
right. not really.
The
Yeah.
opening cut.
Yeah, the
one
opening.
might say.
Yes, the first intro.
Indeed.
Yeah, this is a song that we wrote about both of our grandmothers. They passed away within a couple weeks of each other from 2 different kinds of cancer, and we loved them, and they were the strong matriarchs of our family, and so we wrote this song in tribute to them and all the wisdom that they carried. It's called Silver. Look upon your mother and the silver in her hair. Consider it a crown the holiest may wear. 2, 3, 4. It ain't easy raising babies when they grow like babies, and it's a miracle she carried any shred of sanity. But she read her stories and her with her mother and her medicine and her absent vanity. Look upon your mother and the silver in her hair. Consider it a crown the holiest may wear. Behold the mark of wisdom, make it clear to look upon your mother and the silver in her hair. On the western side of the highway, near the feet of Tennessee, a woman like a pistol and half my family tree. When the circle grew by more than 2, the sawmill did not die. Every day you needed 4 miles to feed, well, you're barely getting by. Look upon your mother and the silver in her hair. Consider it a crown the holiest may wear. Behold the mark of wisdom, the sign of trouble fair. To look upon your mother and the silver in her hair. Take it away, y'all. Last night in my slumber came the matriarchs I miss. They said, "Dear one, be anointed with age's lasting kiss." They're proudly now the token of the life you fully lived. This cord we share unbroken, to you we freely give. Awoken in the morning, arisen from my bed, I found upon my pillow a single shining thread. 2, 3, 4. Look upon your mother and the silver in her hair. Consider it a crown the holiest may wear. Behold the mark of wisdom, make it daily prayer. To look upon your mother and the silver in her hair. Her hair, her hair. You're hired.
It's Saturday night with the Secret Sisters. Y'all go download their latest album, Saturn Returns. It's a beaut. You gotta hear it. Thanks again to Lydia and Laura Rogers, the Secret Sisters.
Thanks, y'all.
Oh, what an impassioned performance by our friends here on the Hartland Hootenanny. The Secret Sisters sure sounded sweet on this big Saturday night. And now, how about we settle in for tonight's telling of all my tales are mostly tall. Well, friends, as a maker of traditional music, these 2+ decades with my band Old Crow Medicine Show, you can probably tell that I know a thing or two about the unique traditions that make the volunteer state such a special place for arts and for crafts. I'm mighty proud to be this year's ambassador for Tennessee Arts and Crafts Week. And I want to give a special shout out to all of the professional craftspersons in our state who are trying to remain optimistic during these difficult times. For many of us right now, job insecurity is a serious matter. So I encourage everyone tuned in tonight to reach out to a local master craftsperson and hire them to do something unique for you or for your home or as a gift for someone that you love. Commission a painting, have a custom jacket made, hire an illustrator. Together, we can help one another through this hour of uncertainty by sharing our time and our talents and our resources. Let's all do our part. Hire a Tennessee or Alabama craftsperson today. Well, when I was 19, living up in those crooked mountains of East Tennessee with the fledgling Old Crow Medicine Show, I learned a lot about the affairs of plain living. In those verdant hills where tradition intersected necessity, there flourished at the crossroads a most one-of-a-kind arts and crafts movement, which my bandmates and I were privileged to encounter during those impressionable years of wayward youth. In Appalachia, folk pathways were often late to the table of commerce and commodification compared to other regions of the country, but the inward utilization of that rich cultural fabric meant that Appalachian crafts retained their inherent purpose and value long after the peaks and valleys of their marketability. One case in point were my friends Ellis and Cora Wolf from Dry Hill, Tennessee. Born in the early years of the 20th century, Ellis and Cora were flame keepers of that distinct mountain cultural inheritance. Dulcimer making. All through Johnson County, Tennessee, everyone knew that if you wanted the best dulcimer, you went to Dry Hill. That Ellis and Cora were also the area's best basket makers, using white oak splits that they'd cut from the sapling trees out on the edge of their family pasture land was simply a given in those East Tennessee mountains. You see, up there, the affairs of plain living enriched one beyond any few particular skills, favoring instead a jack of all trades level of talent, a true flourishing of traditional arts, where the talents popped up not in rows, but in rambling acreages of cultural merit. The hills of East Tennessee were a kind of best in show for all the traditional arts. But for Old Crow, it was just over the state line in northwesternmost North Carolina where we found our ringside seat to this gala of arts and crafts. And by seat, I mean pickup truck bench seat, yanked out of a rusted old hulk and set beside a potbelly stove inside a mechanic shop, because the area's best craftsman was a jack of all trades named Jack Guy, and Jack worked out of a junkyard. Billy Joe Ward is how we got to know Ed Presnell, and Ed Presnell introduced us to Stanley Hicks. And old Stanley used to get his liquor off of Stacy Ward, not related to Billy Joe, and Stacy's the one that introduced us to Jack Guy. Anyhow, if it hadn't been for G Hall Whimmy-Diddles and birdhouses, we'd probably never have figured out how to make white corn whiskey, and if it weren't for white corn whiskey, we probably never would have met Doc Watson. So you can pretty much place a safe bet in saying Old Crow never would have made it in the Nashville music business without first rising to the top of the Beach Creek birdhouse business. How many bands can you say that about? Do you think Blink-182 ever learned the traditional crafts of their region in order to help them gain the cultural competencies needed to authenticate their brand of bratty SoCal, so-called punk rock? Probably not. Perhaps it was because we had more in common with the members of Blink-182 than any of our neighbors in our new adopted hometown of Beach Creek, North Carolina, that it was so important that we earn the right to authenticate the autochthonous sounds of our chosen region. In any case, Jack Guy knew the folk traditions of northwesternmost North Carolina better than most. But what's more, he knew a thing or two about entertaining. Jack Guy had once been on the Johnny Carson Show. Born in 1929, Jack Guy was a folk toy maker from Beach Creek, a small, unincorporated community in the mountains of Avery County, North Carolina, near Beech Mountain. In addition to being an accomplished toy maker and an entrepreneur who promoted the traditional crafts of his native region, Guy hosted concerts and jam sessions at his shop, which he documented extensively. He accumulated a personal collection that included dozens of reel-to-reel audio recordings, home movies, hundreds of photographs, and an extensive collection of ephemera documenting 20th century local Appalachian culture. Now, I got all that from the North Carolina Folk Institute website. Wow, they really make Jack sound like a scholarly type. But here's my version. Thomas Jefferson Guy was the son of the shopkeeper who ran the old Beech Creek store, which now, 100 years later, is a crumbling ruin about to fall into the creek. There's a lot of things about the Beech Creek community that have more or less crumbled into ruin, but Jack wasn't one of them. He went to work every day making birdhouses and planters in the little garage next to Stacy Ward's junkyard alongside the creek, which gave the town its name. Jack must have been about 70 when we knew him, but he looked much older. See, he'd been living on bologna sandwiches and sour cream and onion Pringles for about as long as anyone knew, and he always made a point of feeding his dogs before he ever grubbed himself a bite. He had a dog named Candy and a dog named Rex and a dog named Spanky, and in his wallet he always kept a few dollars and some food stamps and one well-worn photograph of two scantily clad girls who he swore were from the Isle of Lesbos, though he'd met them in Johnson City. Now, Jack had a stuttering kind of a cough when he talked, like a for example, he'd say, "Now, Ketch, I want you to run down to Betty Lou's and get me a pack of them Marlboro cigarettes and a package of them bologna for Spanky and Rex and some of them green Kringles." Jack was one of those guys who would have had millions to retire on if he hadn't had so much fun living beyond his means. Though he couldn't read or write, he was one of the first people in the area to make a name for himself. Before Doc Watson had a record out, before App State was little more than a remote teacher's college, Jack Guy was a world-traveling folk toy salesman and entrepreneur. His workshop in Beech Creek employed 100 people, making folk toys to supply stores from Stuckey's to Sears. The shop cranked out flipperdingers and bull roarers and idiot sticks and Preacher and the Bears and many other types of Appalachian folk toy, but his most famous pattern was the Gee-Haw Whimmy-Diddle, a kind of propeller toy made from a notched piece of wood from the area's mountain laurel shrub. Folks said Jack could have sold a mule to a Ford dealer, he was that slick. As a teenager, he'd been approached by an English scholar of mountain music who asked him to direct him to the makers of traditional song. And Jack, who could hardly carry a tune, told the folklorist one of his signature white lies, saying that he had a band called the Beech Mountain Ramblers. And then Jack called up a friend, Tab Ward, no relation to Stacy or Billy Joe. And Tab knew how to play the banjo fairly well, and together they made field recordings, which Jack would later release on his own independent record label. By the mid-70s, when films like Deliverance brought a newfound national awareness and mystique to Appalachia, Jack found himself the head of the biggest folk toy company in the world. He traveled to Tokyo to meet with toy executives. His picture was at National Geographic's. But he made a crucial mistake. And taking a page from the mountain moonshiners of old, Jack Guy decided to grow the business by peddling an illicit substance, one which was growing more popular than corn liquor, and thus, one or two of every few hundred boxes of Beech Creek Industries Gee-Haw Whimmy Diddles would contain a small packet of cocaine. Now, in the smuggling business, the money really began to roll in. Folks began to wonder how a man could get so rich selling folk toys. But Jack Guy just had that certain spark that made it seem possible. When he appeared on the Johnny Carson show in 1978, mountain folk back home applauded. But the very next year, he was arrested for drug dealing, racketeering, and fraud, and he spent the next decade in a North Carolina penitentiary. Obviously, Old Crow took to Jack Guy immediately, and vice versa. He loved us too. After a month of living on Beech Mountain, we were all birdhouse building for Jack Guy. The folk toy business was busted, but some hillbilly had recently had the idea of selling birdhouses to tourists from Atlanta, and it caught on. Well, ever the entrepreneur Jack wanted his piece, and so he copied the best of the birdhouses to make his patterns. All week long, the members of Old Crow scoured the hills and hollers for the privilege of bringing Jack a garbage bag of moss, or a pickup load of slab wood discarded from the sawmill up Kellysville Road, or a few bales of jackvine, which grew in the hardwoods above the Watauga River, so tough that you had to shoot it down with birdshot. And then we'd commence to build the birdhouse inside of Stacy Ward's junkyard shop there on the banks of Beach Creek. My job was squirting on the liquid nails for Critter to add the little gray pebbles that made it look like the birdhouses had a proper stone and mortar chimney. No birds were ever gonna move into the Old Crow birdhouses, but the tourists from Asheville and Charlotte didn't seem to mind. Years later, living in Nashville, I still made a point of sending Marlboro cigarettes to Jack. Hip, 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 hip. A few years later, when Jack died in a senior assisted living center in nearby Banner Elk, a nurse called me on the telephone. "Ketch," she said. "Well, buddy, I'm just so sorry to tell you Jack Guy's done passed. It's just so sad, but you know, he talked about Yunes about near all the time. How Yunes had gone on down to Nashville and made it to the big time. He said he taught Yunes everything you knew about playing our good mountain music, too. Said Yunes was a-coming for him any day. Said Yunes was a-gonna bring him on down to the Grand Ole Opry down towards Nashville. I'd always say, isn't that nice, Jack? I expect they'll be here any day for you now. Yes, sir, that's what I always done told him. That Yunes be here about any day to come for him and to carry old Jack Guy on down to Nashville. Bye now." Well, how quickly time flies when you're having fun on the Hartland Hootenanny. That's just about all the time we have for you here, and we want to thank tonight's guest stars, the fabulous harmony duo, the Secret Sisters. We can hardly wait for their latest album, Saturn Returns, on New West Records, produced by the fabulous Brandy Carlisle. Hey folks, we hope to see you all again next Saturday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, when once again we'll raise a ruckus. And our awesome special guest will be BJ Barham. Well, until next week, keep following us on Facebook and Instagram or Twitter. Throw a couple silver dollars into the pickle jar if you can spare it, and please, please buy your tickets now to see Old Crow live and in person in Austin, Texas on October 23rd, or in Atlanta, Georgia on October 26th. Do you live in Memphis? Come see yours truly along with the electrifying Molly Tuttle for our show next Saturday night at the Germantown Performing Arts Center in Memphis, October 10th. We'll see you next week. And until we meet again, God bless, be safe, take care, wash your hands, wear your mask, and remember to keep the spirit of Tennessee Crafts Week in your hearts all year long. Oh, and one more thing. So long, it's been good to know ya.
Well,
So long, it's been good to know ya. So long, it's been good to know ya.
so long, it's been good to know ya.
It's Crafts Week in Tennessee all year long, and we've gotta be drifting along. Oh, the quilts are all quilted and the stitches are stitching. The embroidery's embroidered, both beguiling and bewitching. And the best we can hope for is to craft as we go, so the global pandemic will soon be o'er. Singing so long, everybody. So we had a really good time. So long, it's been good to know ya. Tennessee Arts and Crafts Week is almost done, and we gotta be drifting along. Thanks again for joining us tonight on the Hartland Hootenanny. We appreciate you each and everyone so much out there. Thanks for your years of love and support to the Old Crow Medicine Show. And know that without your steadfast friendship, we'd probably all be dead, or at least in jail by now. So thanks for keeping us out of the clink and in the pink, folks. We love ya. We really do. We also love tonight's guest stars from the Hartland Hootenanny, the Secret Sisters. And who else do we love in the Hootenanny tonight? We love quilters, luthiers, wood turners, carvers, knitters, painters, illustrators, sculptors, tile makers, loom weavers, and woodworkers, and so many more. We love especially Jack Guy, Bruce Guy, Lena Bell Tribbett, Tab Ward, Stacy Ward, Billy Joe Ward, none of whom are related, and Johnny Carson. We love C.A. Sadlery, Zach Aguilar Leatherworks, Jay Lynn and Copper Piece Straps, Laura John Quilting, Crystal Janig and Southern Strings Jewelry and Rachel Land. And if not for you, that's all the time we have for you in the Hartland Hootenanny. But see you next week. Stay safe, God bless, don't hurt your face, keep your distance, stay positive, optimistic, hopefully all these shit for good.